Welcome back to Specialized Minis. Today is the final part of Star Wars Legion Delta Squad, featuring Sev. Using Caribbean Ocean, let's get the visor. Using Corn Red, let's start with the markings. Make sure and water down your acrylic paint. We don't want it too watery like speed paint because we want to make sure and get these fine details. I started with the helmet and carefully making sure you don't load your brush up too much. Use the very tip of it and drag it down to where you want the line to be. There's a lot of references of Sev on the internet if you search with Google Images. Different versions of where the markings are. However, choose what you feel comfortable with and just try to imitate what I'm doing here. And I think it'll turn out really nice. Later on, we'll be going back over some of this with some Citadel White Scar acrylic paint to fix some of the markings. So if you mess up, it's okay. You can restart and try again. If you wanted to go a little easier or envision it as kind of like a handprint on the helmet, however, there's different versions, like I said, that show different markings, but generally speaking, there's about 4 to 6 marks on the top of the helmet and just kind of bleeds down over the helmet, under the chin, and later on in the video, it'll go under the chest plate as well. It's important to note, if you don't get the markings exactly as I have it, or the reference material you're following, that it's okay. Just remember to keep your lines nice and small and tight with some white in between the areas to make sure and show those significant lines and features. Make it your own. Here on the arm, kind of has some bleeding effect going into the chest plate and a thicker color on the back side of the arm, as you'll see here in a moment. Using White Scar, let's go back over the top of the visor on the helmet a little bit and just get some more white in between these red lines as I kind of put too much in one area. Make sure and water down your White Scar. We don't want it to become too thick on the visor or the helmet. To notice there's different layers of paint. That's really important. Working on the gauntlet and the hands, it has a more significant red marking with a slant diagonal angle. The gloves are red, so the majority of these are getting painted. Some reference material had 2 red stripes on the legs. However, I found some that kind of looked like bleeding into the thighs and kind of opted for that. And I think it turned out really well. working with the knees, it kind of bleeds up into the upper part of the thigh, and it has a thicker color on the boots, which we'll see here. So just use those small fine details on the kneecaps and then color in the entire boot area. I wanted to go back to the arms to make a little bit better of a bleeding effect into the chest area, and then fill in the back of the arms with all red. I kind of went with my own theme on the back. I wanted to color this line in on the backpack, on the lower half, and then also do the top half of the backpack with another red line. No bleeding effect here, just kind of kept it simple. There's a lot of different themes on the internet showing different ways to do the back of these. Even I make mistakes. I'm going back over the arms and adding some more white scar in to have a little bit better of a bleed effect. And I think it turned out well with doing so. So just use your judgment and go back and forth. Using Gravelord Gray speed paint, let's do the chest plate, the top half of the miniature on the front and the back. Using Grim Black speed paint, Let's paint in between the armor, the neck, arms, legs. Getting a nice thick drop on your brush, but not so thick you can't fit the brush head between the crevices. And you just let the paint do its work. As you can see here, on the thigh here and the area on the back, it just soaks right in, goes right up to the edges. Also, do not want to forget about the gloves and the weapon. We're going to go ahead and use that same Grim Black on these items. Going back to corn red, now that the chest plate is dried, let's do some bleeding markings on the chest plate. Just some straight lines, kind of like dripping down from the chin, a few on the chest plate as you can see here. Using more Caribbean Ocean, let's get this fine little detail on the right pauldron and the small little dots on the backpack. Using Nuln oil, get your brush thick with it and cover the entire miniature. You need to work quickly here, always keeping your brush moist. After you do a full coat of the Nuln oil, do not let it dry. Immediately dip your brush in water. That is new water, not old water from the red you used, because you do not want to turn the armor pink. Working your way down from the top of the miniature to the bottom, continually getting more water on your brush or soaking up any extra Nuln oil. You don't want to create any excess pools on the miniature. You want to use dryad bark for the base. And dawnstone for the rocks. white scar dry brushing on the rocks. And then base the rim with Abaddon Black. Thank you for watching the final part. This is Delta Squad Sev